The relationship I have with my caregivers is so important, and it's very simple. Very, very simple. I think that's historically been a question that I really don't love people asking is, what do you do all day?
Right.
Mhm.
And I don't like it because it's like, I mean, what do you think I'm doing? Like, it's a struggle to do just basic things. And so that can be very hard. Um, but it can be rewarding to have the perspective, like Dr. Pan was saying.
So, talk to me about how you relate to peers who have not experienced the loss of a grandchild. Like, is that something that you guys have encountered, and how do you handle that? Like, when you're talking to other friends or whomever that also have grandkids, but maybe they haven't experienced losing a grandchild, and you guys have, obviously. Like, how has that different or changed, or just how's that dynamic when you encounter somebody that hasn't?
I, People have been so wonderful, just so kind. And I mean, I think that, with children, it is just, I mean, it's somewhat different in that it's not sometimes with older, someone who's older, you kind of feel like they've lived a good life. But when people hear about children passing, they just have a real compassion. And so with my friends, it was just, yeah, such compassion, such understanding and seeking to, like, really wonderful about wanting to let me talk about it, wanting to ask about it, wanting to just, yeah, be available. um, I know that, I mean, it is interesting where I do have a friend who's has a grandchild that's 1 month different than Esther. um, and she was talking this Christmas about going to the Polar Express or something with him. She says, we're going to the Polar Express. And I just remember thinking, oh, that's the age Esther would be. Yeah. And, um, and I mean, I didn't say anything because I didn't need to, but just realizing, like, there's that timeline that will always be there. And, and, but people have been wonderful, never intending to hurt or, be dismissive or anything. People have been very, very kind and compassionate.
That's my experience too. I think I kind of braced a little bit for maybe some situations or some interactions that may be challenging, but that hasn't been my experience. I think people have been very gracious and wanting to extend love and kindness as much as possible, and some will delicately say, well, tell me about Esther on her best day, or tell me about what's something that you loved about her, and opportunities to focus on those things that do honor her and celebrate her, and acknowledge all the good that she was able to experience has been a blessing, I think, for me.
So, I guess kind of on the heels of that, sometimes people can be a little insensitive, not meaning to people who are grieving. Um, you know, Phrases like "well, at least," or you know, um, things like that. People say stuff that sometimes is less than helpful. um, did you guys have any experiences with that? If so, share an example.
Do you know what's interesting is, like I said, being the parent of children who are going through this and never having gone through this myself. I feel that I probably have said things that are more, that I don't think I've had someone say something to me, or I've been like, oh, but I know that I've said things to my son and his wife and thought that that was not, you know. I mean, I just, when they celebrated her third birthday, um, they did a really nice celebration at the cemetery, and they had balloons, and they invited the family, and they, got donuts that spelled her name, and we weren't there, so they called and told us all about it. And I just remember saying, I'm so glad you got that her birthday was exactly like how you wanted it to be. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's just those things where I say it, meaning like, I'm really happy it was, but then again, I'm like, a good day, or what, what was it? And so I think as being the parent, I'm more the one that probably does that, because just those things that you say afterwards, you're like, that wasn't what I intended, and it probably wasn't the best thing to say.
And I think sometimes when you have experienced a major event, you can have this thought in your mind that, okay, I was running the Indy 500 and I need to get back on that track and run it just like I did before. That'll show that I've worked through this stressor. But you will never drive that track again. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think our lives prior to loss, as beautiful as they are, they do lack a piece of understanding and compassion for the suffering of others. Mm-hmm. And your mind is expanded and your eyes are opened to things that you never saw before.
Right.
And I feel like, as much as I hate that I went through the experience of losing my husband, as much as I mourn and grieve with my kids, mm-hmm. I will always be grateful to see life in a different way. Mm-hmm. Than I saw before. So that piece I'm grateful for. And I'm grateful that I don't feel like I need to be where I was before for that to be normal.